Okay, welcome back. Now Arjuna is telling that Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. I have surrendered to you, O Lord Sri Krishna. Kindly consider me as your disciple and please advise which is the right path. So this is seventh verse of uh, second chapter of this Sankhya Yoga. Now we are going to next logic. Still Arjuna's logic is being continued. He says, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachokam avapya bhuma va sapatna mruddam rajyam suranam pichadipatyam. He says, O Lord Sri Krishna, I am unable to visualize, I am unable to see that which is the right path, that is, which is, I am, all my senses are becoming weak. I do not know which one will give me the right direction, by which path I will attain the success, by which path I am a real victorious person, or by which adopting which path I become a loser. So that is what is the logic of Arjuna continued. Now Sanjay says, so. Sanjay, all this is the argument of this Arjuna and now Sanjay says, Evam Mukta Rushikesham Gudakeshah Parantapa Na Yatsa iti Govinda Mukta Tushnim Babhuvaha. He says, Evam Mukta. Sanjay, now Sanjaya is narrating to Dhritarashtra what is happening in the battlefield. He says, Evam Mukta, by revealing this, what Arjuna did, Rushikesham, Evam Mukta Rushikesham Gudakesha Parantapaha. And Nayotsa iti Govindam Uktva Tushtim Babuvaha. See here, what is happening is Sanjaya is telling, revealing to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna said like this to Lord Sri Krishna. Now Lord Sri Krishna here is addressed as Rushikesha. Rushika means senses. That is, who owns all the senses, or who controls the senses of each and every living being in the entire cosmos. So that is why he is called as Rishikesha. There we have seen the meaning of Madhusudana, and here we are finding the meaning of Rishikesha. That is, Rishika means Indriyas, all our sight, or ears, or nose and tongue, and all Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, everything is controlled for each and every living being. It may be a small spider, or it may be a fly, or it may be a mosquito, or it may be an animal like an elephant, or all including the deities. All this is controlled by Lord Rishikesha. So that is our Lord Sri Krishna. To whom? That is Guda. Who has told this? Gudakesha. Now Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha by Sanjaya. That Gudakesha, or this Parantapa, who is a fierce fighter, is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means night, or fall of night, or dark. Kesha means we all know it is hair. That is, Arjuna had beautiful dark hair. That is one meaning, Gudakesha. That is why Arjuna is called as Gudakesha. Or Gudaka means night, and Isha means who owns. That is what he owns in the night. That is, he is capable of fighting even in night time. Arjuna was such a valiant fighter, he could take on the fight in daytime as well as he could take on the fight in the night time, or all the 24 hours without getting tired, he used to take on the fight. So that is why he is referred to as Gudakesha. So such beautiful meanings keep on coming with these different names. That is, Ema Mukta Rushikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Na Yotsa. I will not fight. I will not take on fight. Iti Govindam. To whom he is telling? Govindam. Govindam means Lord Sri Krishna. Arjuna tells that I will not take on the fight to Lord Sri Krishna, and becomes Tushnim. Tushnim means a silent. He became silent and then sat in the middle of the chariot. So that is what Govindam. Now Lord Sri Krishna, earlier in first line he is referred to as Gudakesha. In second line Sanjaya refers Lord Sri Krishna as Govinda. Govinda, go means cows. That is Govinda, who brings pleasure to cows. That he was a cowherd boy. So that is why he is called as Govinda. Or who protects the cows. That is why he is called as Govinda. Or Go indicates Vedas. That is Govinda, he becomes Govinda because he protects all these Vedas. That is, he all the Vedas direct him, all the Vedas are meant for him, all the Vedas describe him. So he is the one who is represented through this Vedas. So he is the protector of the Vedas. That is why also he is called as Govinda. Why he is now referring Sanjaya the name of Govinda? Earlier he said it is Rishikesha, to tell what is the actual stance of this Lord Krishna, or what is the caliber of Lord Sri Krishna. Now he is telling him as Govinda. That is, he is the one who brings pleasure to each and everybody. That is why he is called as Govinda. And now this Govinda, to whom Govinda, because with the intention that this Govinda will bring victory and mental peace to Arjuna also. With that intention, Sanjay is revealing this one. He says, Evam mukta Rishikesham Gudakeshah Parantapa na yotsaiti Govinda mukta tushtim bhaguvaha. Then further, Sanjay says, Tamuvacha Rishikesha prahasanniva bharata senayor ubhayor madhye vishidantam idam vachaha. That is Tamuvacha Rishikesham. That is Rishikesha. Again, the name Rishikesha has come here. That is Lord of all the senses. Prahasan, Prahasan, Hasan means smiling. Prahasan means Prakarshena Hasan. That is with so much of smiles in the face. That is, this Arjuna is under great grief. He is full of tears, and he says he is unable to fight. He says they are my brothers, they are my gurus, they are my mentors, and so forth. He has put forth his logic, and now at this logic of Arjuna, at this moment of time in the battlefield, when they have all decided to take on the war, when all the conchs have been already blown, Bhima has blown his conch, Yudhishthira has blown his conch, Lord Sri Krishna had blown his Panchajanya conch, including Arjuna had blown his conch for the war. Now he says that I will not fight. And he is one of the main heroes who can take on fight, and based on the strength of Arjuna only, Pandavas agreed for taking on fight with only two heroes. One is Bhima, other is Arjuna. They were not, others were, even though they were valiant warriors, compared to Bhima and Arjuna, they were small, Nakula, Sahadeva, not so glorious or fierce fighters. Now, that is why Lord Sri Krishna is now smiling, and to whom he is smiling, that is Tamuvacha Rishikesha Prahasanniva Bharata. Sanjaya is telling to Dhritarashtra. Now Dhritarashtra is addressed as Bharata. Why he is addressed as Bharata? Because he was ruling the Bharata. He was ruling this entire country of, in those days they were only all single rulers of the entire countries. And Bharata, you know, there are two Bharatas. One is Bharata, brother of Lord Rama, was Bharata. Because of his great sacrifices also, this country can be named as Bharata. Or there was another Bharata by name Jada Bharata. Bharata, he became Jada Bharata. That is also a very popular story of Bhagavata. Because of this, that name, this land became Bharata. Now the rulers of Bharata becomes Bharatas. Now Sanjay is addressing to Dhritarashtra as Bharata. Various names will be there, isn't it? Even we call our children with various so many names. So like that, Bharata is another adjective addressed to Dhritarashtra. That is, he says, that is Tamuvacha Rishikesha Prasanniva Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantam Idam Vachaha. Senayor Ubhayor. Sena means this soldiers. Ubhaya means both the parties, Kauravas and parties. Madhye, in between. That is, standing in between these both the armies. Vishidantam, that means the one who had lost his courage to take on the fight, Lord Sri Krishna is telling. This is now the actual gist of chapter 2 will start now. The Sankhya, the concept of what is Sankhya, what is a real knowledge, what we are supposed to do. The one who knows perfectly chapter 2, it is almost he knows Bhagavad Gita completely. It's a very long chapter. It is a very tough chapter. To understand also it is very tough. To speak also it is very tough. Even the very many enlightened souls sometimes fail in expressing the intensity of this chapter 2. It is such a deep chapter. There are separate books of maybe 500 pages only on chapter 2 on Bhagavad Gita. Entire Bhagavad Gita on one side, entire chapter 2 is on the other side. Only commentaries have been written only on chapter 2. So you can imagine what is the, it's almost like an heart of the Bhagavad Gita, that is chapter 2, because that is why it is named as Sankhya Yoga, the actual knowledge. So it is a very vital chapter, very important chapter, and one should definitely read and try to follow as much as possible. As I said, many great enlightened people find difficulty in expressing. So I am just a beginner in Bhagavad Gita. So definitely my caliber, my capacity, I have limitations of the word, but however possible, whatever best I can do, and whatever I have gained from my, with due respect to my guru who is teaching me Bhagavad Gita for the last 15 to 16 years, I will try to convey whatever best it is possible. Now it starts with the Lord Sri Krishna's sentence. Now he says, अशोच्या नन्वशोचत्वं प्रज्ञा वादांश भाससे गतासून अगतासूंश नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः. That is, he says, ashocya nanvashochatvam. That is, what the logic you have put forth. That is, you are worrying about the people who are unworthy of it, who do not deserve to be worried upon them, whoever they may be. They may be your own brothers, they may be your own children, they may be your own fathers, they may be your own uncles, or your own teachers, mentors, gurus, whatever they are. They do not deserve to be worried. Why they do not deserve to be worried? Not because simply they were kings or for any other whimsical reasons, because they committed repeatedly many mistakes. They are called as atatais. We have already come across atatais. That is, who put others on fire, who poison others, and who disrobe women, and who grab land grabbing acts, who do stealing or tell the lies. They are called as atatais, atataina. All the Kauravas were atatais because they had committed crimes on all these counts. They had disrobed Draupadi, they had grabbed the land of Pandavas, they had tried to poison Bhima, and they had tried to burn them in Lakshagraha, that is house of Shalak. That is, they had committed, they had lied, and they have deceived while playing the game of dice. So on all counts, they were criminals, hence they do not deserve to be worried. Then what about Bhishma and Drona, who were pious souls in that army? They also deserve to be punished because they supported that crime. One is the criminals, second is the people who support that criminals. So that is how in society also silent observers or those who do not protest against the crime, they are also equally responsible. That means if we do not unite and if we do not fight, there will be attackers from outside. Or if we simply watch, okay, this is not related to me, let somebody is doing crime against person A is doing crime against person B, why should I bother about it? No, in our capacity doesn't mean that we go and start fighting. In whatever capacity that we can. It may be possible by words, it may be possible by actual physical strength, it may be possible through law, it may be possible through government agencies, it may be possible at various planes, depending on our strength and our courage and our capacities. We should revolt at all the stages against these criminals, or else they become superpowers and they lead the entire country, entire world to the wrong path. So that is what is the message of Lord Sri Krishna to every individual or every human being. That is why he is telling. So many people, even in some of the countries, they had opposed to Bhagavad Gita, telling that Lord Sri Krishna cannot be a god because he is instigating the fight between cousins and the brothers itself. He is not instigating fight. He is only telling that punish the criminals so that peace is established at any cost on this earth. That is the message of Lord Sri Krishna, so that criminals have to be punished, good people have to be protected. That is what he wants to convey the message, whether they may be teachers, whether they may be gurus, or whether they may be brothers or uncles or whoever they are, they have to punish. This is what we have to learn from Bhagavad Gita. That is, even if suppose I am a teacher, if some student, my son is writing the examination, if I allow him copying, I am doing fault. That is, I should object to that fellow also and book him under malpractice case, even if it is my own son. or my own daughter or my own kith and kin. It is with respect to a teacher. Similarly, everybody is in some or the other. Somebody may be judge. His own son might have done a crime, and he is giving a judgment against him. Or it may be a politician whose son has hit on some roadside fellows, and then it has entered the court. At that time, the politician or powerful father should not protect his son. He should ask the judge to give the right due punishment to him. So that is what we are seeing in this world. Why the world is becoming such a sensitive place to reside? Because all the criminals are being protected. So if people start protecting these criminals, automatically there will be peace around, and that is what is the message of Lord Sri Krishna. That is, he is not instigating any war. He is trying to establish peace. Whatever the logics that were put forth by this Arjuna, he had some whimsical logics that if we take on the fight with our own brothers, then all the soldiers will die, their wives will become debaucherous, and then there will not be any peace, and there will be no more men surviving on this earth, and everywhere there will be so much of scarcity of food, there will be no farming. So many logics, some all logics he had put forth. But in reality, what had happened? All the 11 plus 7 Akshavini, that is all the Akshavini Sena was entirely destroyed. Only these 5 people were surviving. 5 Pandavas survived, and on the other side, Krupacharya survived, Ashwatamacharya survived. Rest all they died. But in reality, what happened? Whether the women became debaucherous, whether there was any unrest in the world, nothing. In fact, Dharmaraja or Dharmaraja Yuga is remembered even today, and people want that we want a king like Dharmaraja. That means after that battle also, there was peace everywhere, there was prosperity everywhere, there was so much of security to the citizens everywhere, and people led a very long life. And we have heard how this Yudhishthira ruled the kingdom for so many long years. That is, nobody was with hungry stomach. No, everybody had land, everybody. And he said that every day those who ate food in Dharmaraja's kingdom, every day 1 lakh people used to take food in his kingdom, free food. And he used to give gold plates to all those people who ate them. In whatever plate they ate, that is their gold plates, he used to tell them, you eat and take away this gold plate also. So that much of richness was there during the times of Dhritarashtra. So nothing of the Arjuna's whimsical logics worked there, and the real logic worked of Lord Sri Krishna. That is what's now, as I said, chapter 2 is a very, very versatile chapter, and needs a lot of, let us go very cautiously, judiciously, rather than hurrying. It may be even 1 or 2 or 3 verses itself. We'll sit in some session, every session, and we'll discuss this beautiful, this one. So what he is telling, Ashocha Nanvashochatvam, that is, they don't deserve to be worried. And what you are doing? Pragnavadamsha Bhashase. That is, you are speaking as if you are an enlightened person, as if you are an intellectual. Your argument is so rosy that you speak intelligent words, but they do not have any real logic, because you are worrying for this Duryodhana. Suppose if you lose the war, or suppose you get away from the war, what will happen? Duryodhana will rule the kingdom, and everywhere there will be unrest. Women will not be safe, lands of people will not be safe, and everywhere there will be unrest, and there will be stealing and land grabbing and wealth grabbing. So these activities will start. So because of that, Lord Sri Krishna says, take on the fight with that Duryodhana. He doesn't deserve to be worried upon. He deserves to be killed itself. That is what is the clear message. And what you are speaking like an intelligent fellow, because they are your brothers and cousins in war field or in the actual reality. When it comes to right and wrong, we should support only the right. We should support the justice. We should support only the truth. That is what is the real message that we have to carry. And that is what is Lord Sri Krishna carry. That is why he's Supreme Lord. And these words are from the nectarine words of Lord Sri Krishna himself. If some Puranas or something, they were written by human beings, Bhagavad Gita is revealed by Lord Sri Krishna. So there cannot be even a fault of even a full stop or a comma. Who else can reveal such a knowledge in the entire cosmos? Bhagavad Gita is not only divine to human beings. Bhagavad Gita is a divine to sages and saints and even gods and deities. All the deities, gods, they recite Bhagavad Gita. It is said in so many texts. It is such a holy book to even all these gods also. So definitely it is the holiest to we all, and we should revere that. We should read whatever little understanding we can do. Definitely it will elevate us from a mortal to an immortal human being. And further in second line, what he says, Gatasun Agatasuscha. That is the one who have Gata, who have already died and who are going to die. We should not worry about them. Why we should not worry about them? Because we all are dying. Our great great grandfathers do not survive. Their children did not survive. Our grandfathers did not survive. Our fathers did not survive. And one day we are also going to die. Our children, other day they will also die. Their children, they will also die. That means quitting is mandatory. We have to quit the world. So when this is the reality of life, when everybody has to quit the world, why do you worry about these fellows, these criminals? You should not worry. They do not deserve to be worried upon. So only path is to take on the war, because Arjuna had asked, tell me decisively which is the right path. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling, decisively is telling they do not deserve mercy, so just take on the fight with them. Further, Lord Sri Krishna, so now continues with Lord Sri Krishna only. Further he says, Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayavatah param. He says, yourself, myself, and all these kings, we are not eternal, not permanent. We were existing earlier also, maybe thousands of years back, or infinite time, we do not know. We were existing even 500 years back also. We were existing 200 years back also. Now also we are existing. In future also we do exist. We again take a rebirth and again we do exist. That is what it is. Natvevaham, including you. Jatunasam, Natvam neme janadipa, jana kings. All these kings, they are kings now. Yesterday they were not kings. Earlier they were kings. Again they had lost. So this is a continuous cycle. It's a cyclical process that keeps on happening. So you need not have to worry about this one. Na chaivana bhavishyamaha. That is, everybody in future also we will exist. Past also we are there. Now also we are there. Only in between again there will be gap. Again rebirth. Again death. Punarapi jananam. Punarapi maranam. Punarapi janani jatare shenam. Bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam. This all you have heard. Again here also we will come across that one. That is, Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadivaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayavatah param. Further he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra na muhyati. That is, Dehinosmin, that is the one who is bearing this body. He was a child once upon a time. He was a kaumara once upon a time. And today he is become an adult, and tomorrow he will become an old person. This is an eventual. That is, in me, my childhood is died. In me, my teenage has died. In me, my adulthood has died. Now what is remaining? Now I am going towards a senior citizen. For everybody, in their respective age, whatever they are. That means every moment we are dying. So who will cry for this one? Whether myself or anybody keeps on crying, oh, I lost my childhood, now I unnecessarily became an adult, I would have remained permanently child. Nobody, they are all very happy. In fact, they say that, see, I was a small, now I am a grown up adult, I can enjoy the world more beautifully. So he is so happy that his childhood is died. Similarly, when a person becomes old, his youth gets died. Again, nobody will keep on crying. How many every day you see that every morning with sunrise they keep on crying, oh, yesterday I was a young fellow, today I have become 1 day old, tomorrow I become 2 days old. Nobody will cry like that. It automatically happens. It is a part of life. So that is what Lord Sri Krishna is telling. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. In this body it keeps on happening. Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara means old age. Kaumari you know, Yavvana also you know. That is, this keeps on happening. He is born, he grows as a child, then becomes a teenager, becomes adult, becomes old, and dies off. And then he says, Tata dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra na muhyati. Tatha. So because of that, dehantara means from this body to other body. Vastrantara, in Sanskrit we say Vastrantara. You do Vastrantara means remove these clothes, wear another cloth. Dehantara, give up this body, take on another body. It may be anything. If we are fortunate and are virtuous souls, we become human beings. Or otherwise, we become, maybe we may become an insect, we may become a bird, we may become a dog, cat. I don't know, depending on our deeds that we have done in past lives or present lives. It is bound to happen. So that is what is. So we have to get up from this one. This is a routine, mundane activity. So from this, if we follow this path of Bhagavad Gita, we will be liberated from this repeated deaths and births, and we will attain that eternal growth for which we are all born as human beings. Because greatest boon to human beings that they can do something, achieve something, divinity, which animals cannot do. Birds cannot do a penance, or animals cannot do it, or aquatic life, fish, etc., do not meditate or do not pray. It's only human beings who are blessed with this supreme skill of attaining the knowledge. So we should make best use of this one, or else we will be losing a great opportunity that was provided by Supreme Lord to us if we do not make right use of this one. That is the message. That is, he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra namuhyati. Dhira. Dhira. There are, one is Veera, other is Dhira. Veera is one valiant who can take on the fight. Dhira is one who sticks on in the battlefield till end. Even if he is injured, he keeps on fighting till end. So that is a small difference, Veera and Dhira, like Dukkha and Shoka. A small difference will be there. Whenever that comes, I will tell you the difference between Dukkha and Shoka. Similarly, Veera and Dhira, who can take on fight, we can take on fight till last. Example of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was fighting, and at the end he knew that all these valiant fellows gathered together and they started fighting with a small young fellow, young warrior. Karna, such a valiant fighter. Duryodhana, a valiant fighter. Dushasana, a valiant fighter. And this Drona, such huge and towering personalities were fighting with a small 16-year-old boy like that Abhimanyu. But Abhimanyu did not run away from the side. He fighted till his end. That is Dhira. Veera, Dhira. So what he says, Tata Dehantara Praptihi, Tatra Dhirana Muhyati. Dhira means that is battlefield. Here also, when we die, a Dhira doesn't worry. Okay, fine. This body has to go one day. It's going today. I will acquire another body. Day after tomorrow, I will leave that body. I will acquire another body. After lifespan, whatever the lifespan it is. Suppose if it is insect lifespan, maybe one day or a few hours or a few minutes, or maybe it is for 10 to 15 years in case of cat, dog, something like that. Or if it is something like elephant, it may be 50 to 60 years. If it is tortoise, it may be 500 to 1000 years. If it is for human beings, it may be 100 or 120 years. But after that, again, we have to leave this body. But a Dhira doesn't worry about this death. He happily dies, takes on, because he knows that he has led a virtuous path. Those who have not led a virtuous path, again, death will be an haunting experience. It is a painful experience. For those who have led a virtuous life, for death is a pleasure to them. Happily they will leave the body, and happily they will attain another body if it is granted by the God, or they may travel to the further worlds of heavens, or eternal heavens, or worlds of Lord Shiva, world of Indra, world of Lord Sri Krishna himself, or Brahmaloka, depending on their virtues that they have accumulated. So a Dhira will never bother about this one. There were so many sages also who have told their time of death and gathered for a meeting, and they said that I will die on so and so date at 7 p.m. So thousands of people gathered, and he sat for meditation and he died. So happily he died. So this is not a fiction. This examples you can read from a book, Living with Himalayan Masters with Swami Ram. So beautiful knowledge, experiences he has quoted about the yogis. It's a wonderful book. Anyway, so that is another thing. Here we are discussing with Lord Sri Krishna, so we will concentrate on this one. That is an worldly example. This is the example of a Lord Sri Krishna itself. Tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra na muhyati. That is, this is not carried away by death and birth. He is least bothered about this one. So this is one of the beautiful verses of Lord Sri Krishna. Now I will tell you another beautiful word or a verse of Lord Sri Krishna. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukadaha agama paino nityam stam stitikshasva bharata. I think I have got another message of this internet, another 10 minutes I have. But this verse is such a versatile, such a beautiful verse that is close to everybody's heart, that we need to meditate upon this verse repeatedly. Repeatedly we need to meditate. Such a beautiful sloka it is. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Here he is referring as their Partha Prutha. Here is referring as Kaunteya, Kunti's son. That is, Lord Sri Krishna says, "O Kunti's son, Matra sparshastu." Matra sparshastu. Matra. What is this matra? Matra. Ma means the knowledge. Tra means by which we experience. Matra means by which we experience something. So what we experience, with my eyes, I experience the vision. With my ears, I experience the sound. With my skin, I experience the touch. And with my nose, I experience the sun. With my tongue, I experience this taste. So that is matra sparshastu kaunteya. Oh, that is, oh Arjuna or Kaunteya, matra sparshastu kaunteya. That is, how do I taste something is sweet or salt? By placing on my tongue. How do we say that this is so and so sound? By listening to it. How do I see a particular sight or a color or something like that? Through my eyes. How do I experience that it is cold or hot or warm? By touching to my skin. That is matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shita ushna, that is like a heat and a cold. Shitoshna sukha dukha daha, that is, if it is hot, it may give pain. If it is cold, it may give a pleasure, or whatever it is there. Then agama paino nityam stam titikshasva bharata. Here Arjuna is referred as Bharata. Bharata, there Dhritarashtra was Bharata. Anybody who rules Bharata is Bharata, general name. So there Dhritarashtra was a ruler. Here now Arjuna is going to rule in future after this warfare. So Arjuna has declared him as a Bharata itself. So that is Agama Paina, that is they come and go. Suppose if cold winds are there, we experience cold. If heat winds are there, we experience it. Summer, we experience it. The moment you switch on your air conditioner, you start experiencing the cold. Isn't it? So that is matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. That is, they give either experience of heat or a pain or a pleasure or a joy or a sweet or a salt or a good sound or melodious sound or a noise or a song, whatever it is there, we experience. He says sukha. Here many enlightened people will go berserk here in this. That is why I am concentrating on this verse itself. That is, here there is one letter tu. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya. You separate this only one. If you have the book, you can make out matra sparshas tu, written as only one word. But here you have to separate matra sparshas tu kaunteya. So what is this tu? The meaning of tu is too much here. What is that letter tu indicates? That is, Lord Sri Krishna is making a mock of Arjuna, or in a satirical language, he is telling that, do you think Arjuna, only this touch and this one gives pain and pleasure? All the time Arjuna was thinking that if I kill Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya, tomorrow I cannot see them, I cannot take his blessings, he would have kept his hand on my head, something and all. He had the logic. That means, do you think that only by seeing Bhishma, seeing this Arjuna, this Dronacharya, only by listening to the words of Bhishmacharya, do you feel happiness and sorrows or heat and cold? Do you experience like that? Is it true? That is what is tu. Tu is a question mark here. Many people miss upon this one. But anyway, it's blessings of my Guruji, I could make out this one. And you can read this in books also. If you refer any books of this Madhva philosophies of Madhvacharya, Gita Bhashya, Gita Vivrutti, and then Raghavendra Swami's Gita Vivrutti, you can find this explanation more beautifully than me. I am a small child in this field, but this has been taught by Guruji, my Guru. So that is how I can hook on that word tu. Matra sparshastu. Do you think like that? I will tell you one beautiful example here. Let us say you have one beautiful bangla seaside, maybe on a Mumbai or something like that. You have on a sea face a beautiful bangla of maybe uh, uh, 10 crores or something like that. Now you have decided to shift from Mumbai to some other place. What you will do? You have sold that building, 10 crore worth of building, you have sold for maybe 25 crores, you have sold, and you have come out of that one and settled in a city like Bangalore. The moment you have come out, maybe after 15 days or 1 week or 10 days, tsunami came and the building got washed away entirely. Now what will happen to you? Do you feel you are happy or do you feel you are sorrow? If you were staying in that house and if tsunami comes and it gets washed away, then you will start crying that my, oh my fate, it's a very ill luck has struck me, I'm an unlucky fellow, my house has been washed away in the oceans, so now I am on a road, I am on a pauper, I have become so much hue and cry you will make, or we will make. And suppose if you have sold that 10 crore house for 25 crores and settled in a big villa in Bangalore, now the house has been washed away, now what will say? We were very fortunate. I am saved by the God. I am so such a blessed person, lucky person. If I would have stayed, I would have died and I would have lost property. Now somebody XYZ has died. Why this has happened? Because now you have lost the attachment to your property. In term of your property, you have taken the cash for that one. So you have lost your attachment. Same thing maybe with your horse. If you have a horse, so your horse, maybe you have paid 1 lakh or 10 lakhs and you have bought a horse, you have sold it. The sold next day horse died. You every day used to love your heart, clean it, and give fodder and give a horse ride and enjoy that horse ride. Now you have sold that horse and the horse died. Now you are happy or you are sorrowful? Earlier, if horse were with you, it would have died, you would have been very sorrowful. Now you have sold off, you have taken the money, it has died with somebody else. No, you don't bother about it at all. You are, because you are detached. So this is what is happening to Arjuna. He is attached to the relations so much so that Bhishma or Drona or this Kauravas thinking that there is gurus, mentors, teachers, brothers, cousins. So he is having the grief. But same Arjuna valiantly fought 3 crores of Nivata Kavacha demons and single-handedly destroyed them. At that time, he never thought that these 3 crore soldiers' wives will become debaucherous. And if I kill these soldiers, what is the fate of this land? How they will get food? What is the next generation? He never thought about that. When he was winning the wars repeatedly against his enemy kings and accumulating the wealth, killing the kings, at that time he never thought that what will happen to their wives, their children. At that time he wanted to show that he is a superior hero or a supreme warrior. Now because it's after all a small war, Kauravas had fought so many such wars. Now this war is getting so much importance because he has attached to that love and affection. This has become the weakness of this Arjuna. This is what Lord Sri Krishna is pointing out to him. Why? And do we say that we should not have attachment to our gurus or brothers? Definitely we should have attachment, love and affection and respect if they deserve. If they are on righteous path, deserve you revere them. If they are on wrong path, punish them, bring them on the track. Now it's not that my uncle is at a fault, I should punish. No, I am not a king or I am not a kshatriya, I am not a judge to punish. It is a duty of somebody else. So whoever is in his duty, he should do that one. It's not that because Arjuna killed his uncles, I need not have to kill them. All I have to do is I have to convince them with words, or I have to bring them to the court. I have to make a complaint in a police station about this one. So that is how the law will take. So that is whatever the role that they have been assigned, they have to do in that capacity only. That is what the Lord. Now Arjuna is a king. He is a kshatriya. He is bound to rule this kingdom and establish peace and prosperity everywhere. If he develops weakness like this, the entire country will be at a loss. Hence Arjuna, take on the fight and kill your enemies. So that is what is the message. So this is a beautiful message. That is, he is saying, Matra sparshastu konteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Do you think that only the touch to a heat, touch to a cold gives the pleasure and pain? It doesn't give. Suppose if I keep ice, I feel so, it's